Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. I am Max Loeb, he is Chef Zay, and we are coming off another heartbreaking 20-9 loss to the Cleveland Browns. We talked about 20 points all week. We probably shouldn't have overlooked 10. We got a lot to talk about in this episode, but we do have a very, very special guest for you. Three-time Pro Bowler, Cleveland Browns legend, Joe Haden. Joe, welcome on to Honor the Land. We appreciate you joining us.
Man, thank you guys for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Of course. Well, we're pumped to talk about the game outside of the outcome with it. I'm curious, just initial thoughts from what you saw on the field yesterday, Joe. Was it as bad as all of the fans are reacting to?
I would say it's a build-up, and yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's an overall thing where it's not just like one game. It was the Steelers. It happened. It was what it was. It wasn't actually like extremely that bad, but it's just the overall product. Why does Dillon and Gabriel throwing the ball 52 times? Why is Junkins only rushing the ball 12 times? There's no real plan. Do you know what I'm saying? And that kind of gets frustrating when you see them playing the Steelers, and defense was playing well at the beginning. They were bend but don't break. They weren't giving up touchdowns. They were giving up field goals, and they were trying to, get something going. But when you continue to give it back to the offense, there's no, all right, boom, they're going to give you a jolt of energy that they're going to be able to score some points. It's actually a demoralizing feeling when you keep giving the ball back and nothing comes out of it. So, it's just a buildup, and I think the play calling was bad. We don't have to put Dillon Gabriel in that position. He's not that bad of a quarterback, but some just passes too. Like, you got to make something happen. There's a difference between helping the team, not losing the game when you don't throw any interceptions, you don't turn the ball over, but you don't make passes that you need to make. You know what I'm saying? And then the receivers sometimes aren't helping them dropping the ball, but it's just a sad. It was just a bad game, bro, to watch.
When being a defensive player, you mentioned the 52 times being thrown, like, knowing he's a rookie, knowing that the Kevin Stefanski's offense has a tendency to throw the ball 40+ times a game, as a defender, are you looking at the chops for that opportunity? Like, what are you thinking of being on the defensive side of the ball, especially when we know that the Steelers are the highest paid defense in the league? I can't imagine that they're sitting there like, man, I really hope they don't throw the ball 52 times. Like, what's that feeling like on the defensive side of the ball when you know this is what's about to happen?
Once you get them boys behind the sticks, if they start behind the sticks and they're in passing opportunities, we can let Highsmith, we can let Watt, they can let them get after us. We know the ball's going to be coming out fast. The line isn't that stout. You know what I'm saying? And you putting this guy in a situation where if nobody's open off the rip, I'm in the secondary ready to jump something because TJ's going to be on his neck quick. He's going to have to make a decision or he's going to get sacked. So him playing behind the sticks, like when it's 2nd and 9, 3rd and 10, you're fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't mean it in a bad way, but like, dude, that's not a good place to be in as a rookie quarterback when you're playing against a defense like that. You need to be running the ball. You need to be ahead of the sticks, 2nd and 3. You know what I'm saying? When now they don't know if you're going to run or pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, being in obvious passing situations when you don't have a good blind and they can pin their ears back and get after you is not a place you want to be in. So that's the situation when you're on defense. Like, boy, we won 1st down. Okay, TJ, go get him. I know you're going to get after him now. I can kind of jump routes. I can be back here knowing like he doesn't have a lot of time and his time clock is ticking. So you can jump stuff.
That was the craziest part to me, too, because we talked about it before the game. Like, the Steelers' run defense is good, point of pride in stopping the run, but they also load the box. They'll put 8 in the box a lot. That's how they roll.
Mhm.
The reality is the Browns still had success this season against teams like Green Bay, who would run a lot of cover 3. They would load the box. Against stout run defenses with Quinshon Judkins. The fact that he had 12 carries, he played less snaps than Jamari Thrash, and I think that was also partially a game flow thing. I had to throw the ball late in the game. But that's utterly insane to me. This has been the Browns' best offensive player really all year, and he's touching the ball 12 times in a game where you need him to make plays. And not all of the fault falls on Judkins with the stats, right? The offensive line was not great, pass protection or run blocking. But at some point, you got to look back at yourself and look back at your offense and say, this is what's been working. This is the guy that really has been the heartbeat of our team, not just the offense the past couple weeks. Maybe we can't run the ball how we used to or were doing a couple weeks ago. How can we manufacture touches for him now? And that, to me, was the biggest shock. Judkins was barely involved in the pass game, barely designed touches for him outside of the runs that got stuffed up, half of which he probably was contacted at or behind the line of scrimmage. It was insane.
No, yeah, it's the fact that, and the whole we play behind thing. That's the thing that's frustrating because it was 3-9 for an extended period of the game. What
Yes.
exactly do we have to like when you're on the defensive side of the ball and the Steelers got 3 opportunities on your side of the field to go out there and get a stop. You get the stops you need to get. You hold them to 3. You're in. It's a 1-possession game, and then you see your offense go out there and you can't muster up anything I mean, you get the ball to the 3-yard line, you end that drive at the 15-yard line and have to settle for 3. Like, what exactly are we doing? How do you, as a defensive player, keep that mentality? I guess I'm trying to spit it out to
Yeah.
want to go out there and play.
The good thing is you're professionals. Myles Garrett, the defense, you're grown men. You have a job to do. The tape, the eye in the sky don't lie. It kind of just sucks that you're always put in that position to where you can't make a mistake. You're put with your back against the wall, so you have to be. Any first down you give up, that could be the reason why you lose the game. So I think defense, they know you have to play at such an elite level to give your team an opportunity to win. You're going to do that because that's what you do. You're professionals, you're pros. We're the defense. We know we don't have to lean on us. But it gets demoralizing when you keep doing it. And it's like, can we get something? Can we get something? They're going to have to keep doing it, obviously, because they're pros. These dudes are ballers. Denzel Ward isn't going to go out there and play bad because the offense isn't playing well. You know what I'm saying? That's just not what you do when you're a fucking G. So, like, I love the Browns defense. They're going to come out there and ball out. But it's like, it just sucks when you got to give us something. Show us that when the defense keeps handing it back to them. That's why I was looking at the Steelers. They were not, the offense was still getting field goals. Boss made 3 field goals in the first half. So it's 9-3, like you said. But eventually, Aaron Rodgers keeps getting the ball. He's going to make something happen. He's going to eventually score. He's going to hit DK Metcalf on a double move and get in the end zone. Those are just plays that eventually you will hope that your offense, they're going to keep grinding, maybe no score in the first half, but give us something. Score a touchdown. Not scoring over 17 is crazy. So it just makes your defense have to continue to know they're going to play elite because they're elite players, but it just is demoralizing when you're not getting any help.
You know what's even crazier? The Browns, like you said, Joe, 17 has been the goal. That's been the team high total this year. Cincinnati Bengals walked out against arguably the best defense in the NFL other than the Cleveland Browns or maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point and put up 18 points in, 4 days of practice? Granted,
2, I think.
he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But it has to speak volumes to the offensive system that you're in and how well you're producing within structure, right? Like, are we crazy for looking at Joe Flacco put up more points than the Browns have all year and saying, what are we doing here?
You're not crazy at all. You're logical.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, too. Like, I watched the Stefanski offense for however long he's been here calling plays, and there are moments where it's good. There are moments like the big brain moments where you drop the design screen or the fake end around that finds up the middle with David Njoku. I think back to that Seahawks, I think it was a touchdown 2 years ago in 2023, one of the prettiest plays I've seen in a long time. But the ceiling is capped.
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking. That's what I keep saying. He's a ceiling capper for some of these guys because you look at David Njoku, Harold Fannin Jr., I think Quinshon Judkins, now just raw, athletic ability to play football. There are very few people in the league like them. At what point does that lead to production? Something is hindering the production. I mean, to me, it's very clear there's a roadblock in the way right now.
Joe, I gotta ask you a question, man.
Yes, sir.
You obviously played in the NFL, Pro Bowler, so you probably have a good eye for talent. Is this notion that the Cleveland Browns don't have weapons on the offensive side of the ball a real type of discussion? Is there merit to it? Because I look across the league and I see the Drake Mays of the world. I see the Mac Joneses of the world. I see all of these players. I see Baker Mayfield getting it done with 3rd, 4th, and 5th string receivers around. Like you can look anywhere across the NFL and see players and be like, well, Q is probably better than this running back. David Njoku and Harold Fannin may be better than this guy. Jerry Jeudy still runs some of the prettiest routes in the league. So, like, I can't wrap my head around the fact that Browns don't have weapons to get things done. Am I crazy in saying that? Or is there some merit to it?
There is a little merit to it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I would say, like, not knocking Jerry Jeudy at all. But when you look around the league and you have a T. Higgins and you have a Jamar Chase, there are levels to this as on the outside receiver position, I would say in the Browns case. And I would say that just goes to the fact of money. Like when we sign away picks and we give away $240 million, and this just goes to you're not getting that production of the $240 million of Deshaun Watson, where there's contracts where there can be another receiver. There could have been another guy that we have on the team or that we drafted when we lost those picks and or on the team. So I would say defensive wise, we have the skills. Offensive wise, like you say, running backs, good, but it's like depth, and we could have better players on the outside. That's just where I'm at with it too.
So that goes to the Andrew Berry Testament part of it, where it's like, this whole entire offseason, you couldn't find a Browns fan who had a
Yeah.
defensive player in their mock draft for like the first 2 or 3
Yeah.
picks. We
Mm.
you could have found a homeless person who didn't even keep up with the news and be like, "Where do you think the Browns should do this draft?" Probably take a receiver. So do the GMs think that the talent is competent enough? Like, where do you go from that when obviously there's a talent deficiency at the receiving position that falls on the general manager?
I would say so.
See,
I would say so.
I think agreed 100%. That's where a lot of the blame falls. But I also think when you look at what Stefanski wants to do on offense, for lack of a
Mm.
better phrase or description, it's like it's the big brain offense where he wants to scheme it up where it almost doesn't matter which player is at the X on the outside, which player
I
is
got you.
the first or the
No.
second tight end. And that's
Mm.
exactly
The problem.
what it's exactly the problem as it relates to the talent because we walked throughout the offseason saying they need another receiver to help Jerry Jeudy. We like Cedric Tillman, but what we talk about drops and injuries. What have we seen so far the first month and a half? Drops, injuries. Jerry Jeudy, we thought could step up and be better than he was. I was one of the bigger Jerry Jeudy connoisseurs this offseason for sure, and it's been weird to see the play dip, especially what we
Mm.
saw last year. But I still look at the offense and wonder how much a wide receiver addition in the draft, in free agency, or even via trade was pushed for because of the approach from Stefanski and the staff. I really wonder about that.
I think you speak facts because at the end of the day, when I think in the Brown situation, it's the general managers and the owner. They're making the decisions. And if you don't think that you need a receiver, you want to go a different direction. I just don't think they've been going in the right direction for a while. And speaking on the Greg Newsome trade, that's one thing that kind of really rubs me a little bit of the wrong way. Is like, why? He's playing at the highest level he's been playing, and you bringing in another corner for what? You got to be able to keep your good players. That's where you keep your good players, and this just I don't know. I don't see why the moves are being made that are being made sometimes.
You want to cut?
No, I agree with you. I think the only logical explanation for the Newsome trade had to have been financials, right? Like that to me, because we talked about a potential Greg Newsome trade. I don't know, the past like 2 years, and we were always waiting for him to jump up and I guess elevate play to prove he can be a true number 2 on the other side of Denzel Ward. And through 4 or 5 weeks of the season, he did that. Like the play was elevated. Maybe the Browns are like, we can't pay this guy $20 million a year. That's the only logical thing in my mind for why they traded him. Maybe a scheme thing, but he was playing well, so I don't know.
I'm wondering if it's this because Joe, you've been a part of some teams that we look at and we be like, damn, we all we got is Joe and Joe Thomas. We got 2
Yeah.
Joes on this team. We got one on offense. We got one on the defense, and
Mhm.
I still think it was one of the dirtiest things that I've ever experienced. I was talking about this before we got on. When they let you go, that was one of the dirtiest things that I've ever experienced as a fan, as a whole. It's like, where did this come from? Is this very similar to in terms of a rebuild? Like, because that's what the direction that they were going with you, and then come to find out Pro Bowl season right after, like clearly they made the wrong mistake there. So is this a mirror representation of we need to face the music that this season is essentially part of the major rebuild that we're going for? Because like you said, we haven't been going in the right direction for quite some time.
The crazy part is, once it starts getting to the 1-5, 1-6,
Mhm.
and if you start getting to the chance of being mathematically eliminated from the season, like that's where it gets real crazy and people starting to try to save their jobs. People are planning for next year. Like it's really kind of getting a rebuild situation. And I think that's kind of what it's looking towards. Like right now, I mean, I hate to say it, but the Browns defense, great. We're going to be able to figure that out. But on the offensive side of the ball, I don't see any answers and when what Stefanski's got going on. So I mean, it's not looking too good. It's looking like kind of the same thing that's happened a couple of years when I was there. So I really don't. It it's fucking sad, brother.
It's sad. It's sad. And the fact that we're all sitting here, we're making our points, we're saying, and then at some point we're like, shit, I still don't know what's going on. And that speaks volumes to the situation. I'm very glad you brought up Joe Thomas. I want to talk about the comments Myles Garrett made after the game. But we're going to take a very quick break here on Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. Welcome back into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Logue. He is Chef Zay. We are joined by Joe Haden talking all things Cleveland Browns after their 23-9 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. During our break, we had a very interesting discussion about the past Deshaun Watson trade and the elephant in the room looking at Baker Mayfield, who's very likely the league MVP right now. As insane as that sounds, in the middle of October, Baker Mayfield with no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, no Emeka Egbuka for most of the game last week, no Bucky Irving, a beat-up offensive line, is the most valuable player in the NFL so far. a lot of ball to be played. But I wanted to bring this up because we talked about Deshaun. You know, you make the trade, you have to potentially get in contention with the top 10 quarterback. I think a lot of Browns fans will agree looking back on it. Like, it's a move you had to make. Obviously, hindsight is 2020, doesn't look pretty now. But there's something that was raised to me a couple times, really since April, but the past year. I kind of brushed it aside, didn't want to lean into it. And I want to ask you guys. With what we've seen with the Browns offense, this rotating door of quarterbacks, especially this year and last year, how bad it's looked regardless of who's out there. People are starting to say Kevin Stefanski could have had an impact in limiting or hindering Deshaun Watson's play on the field. I think there's a little truth to it, but I'm curious. Joe, I want to ask you, do you think there's any truth to Kevin Stefanski hindering Deshaun Watson on the field?
I think that when it comes to the play calling, like you said, y'all definitely spoke really good on being able to just have your offense not as much as a player base, but just spots. It doesn't matter who he thinks that he can have on this offense. It can be kind of pick and pass. So, I mean, when we say hindering, I think you can always hinder a quarterback by not playing to his strengths, just putting them kind of in whatever system you think that they should be in. So I think that definitely could be a thing.
I just remember what was that? What week was that Tennessee game where after the game we all the news broke. It was like, yeah, we drew that touchdown play up to Amari Cooper on 59 yards in the dirt. Like it was almost like the LeBron play where they scrapped the play that Mike Brown wrote up and he's like, or David Blatt wrote up and like, nah, we going to the corner to me. Like why is it so complicated for this team to just do the obvious things? And then when the obvious thing is staring them in the face, they don't do the obvious thing.
Or they find a way to mess it up.
Or they run the obvious thing and it's like, well, that's the time you probably shouldn't have done the obvious thing. I think back to the Minnesota game where, you know, a lot of people say, well, they were running the ball a lot, but then it's like, yeah, this is after you ran the same exact play 3 times in a row throughout the first 3 quarters. You didn't design a different type of counter, a misdirection of any type of sort, and you just basically said, hey, we're running it to the right side. Come tackle us. Like, that is such a coaching problem. I get the whole we can go back and forth with the player personnel, but that's all coaching at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you guys, when is the last time walking into a season, not throughout the season, that you've genuinely looked at the Browns roster and said, there's no talent on this roster? I can't remember a time in the past 7-ish years where I've walked into the Browns season and said, this roster is devoid of talent. This doesn't have the talent to do it. Maybe outside of the 2/3 of the season where Deshaun didn't play.
I was going to say 1-31.
So a decade, right? The Browns have always, in the past decade, let's say, always in the past decade had the talent. At some point, Coach Finati, if you're watching, I know you are, shout out to you. He always says it's about the Jimmies and the Joes and not the X's and the O's. It's about the guys you have on the team. It's about the guys you have in the building. The guys in the building in Cleveland, and you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong, have shown up with talent. I think it's clear to see this year there's a lot of talent in, I'll just say the team, but more so the defense. There's a lot of talent there. There's some offensive talent. You look at last year, walking into the season, injury bug bit him really bad. That was an incredible roster on paper. Like, the aspirations for last season were ridiculous. I think in 2023, they were probably tapered off a little bit, but you knew because you had Deshaun, because you had some skill players, you had some good players on defense, you made a lot of moves on defense too. Like, you were excited. You keep backtracking really since till 1-31. It seems like the talent's always been there. That's my question now. If the talent's been there, where is the execution?
The voice. Is the
The
voice.
voice.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. Like you say at the end of the day, but that's the thing. There needs to be an offensive voice. The Browns, when you be able to, coaches have to be able to literally set up sometimes when you say play calling, X's and O's and Joes, but players have to make the plays and coaches got to put them in positions to win, the best positions to win. Sometimes it means like if you're running to the left, like being able to disguise something, setting something up. Like, don't just keep calling the same, like you said, don't keep calling the same damn play. Call it for a reason. Call it because we're setting something up for when the key moment, we're going to fake this and we'll have the cornerback's eyes back and we can run a good play, like for the play or 2-point conversion. Be setting something up. Don't just be out there running the plays for no reason, just out there calling stuff just to be calling it. You know what I'm saying? It's more of chess instead of checkers.
Yeah.
Just to say he read it 23 times,
exactly.
right?
I think that's a good point, Joe, because I think the other end of the spectrum is like that. Like you said, when I think back to prime Nick Chubb. We're like, give this guy the ball 35 times a game. Like, you can't do that. That's not how the game of football works. But you want to because you know he's your best player. It's a happy medium somewhere. But like you said, an offensive voice doesn't really exist, hasn't really existed. And if it is Kevin Stefanski, who still is the offensive voice and confirmed about an hour and a half ago, still is calling plays, right? What makes you believe in him as a player at this point? Seriously, as an offensive player, what makes you believe in the production on the field when the offensive line can't keep a quarterback up? Obviously, Dillon Gabriel
See,
had some good moments, but was missing throws. You're
a
dropping
lot of a
balls.
lot of this stuff for the Browns is too. It's on the tape. Like when we saying the offensive line isn't good, that's a personal problem. So like these individuals have to perform better. When they look in the film room and they get the tape, it's not like everybody's getting blown every play, but these dudes have to be able to take accountability for the plays that they're not making. All this stuff isn't coached like it's like, oh, offensive line sucks. That's because these dudes are getting beat on their one-on-ones. If you're not winning your individual matchup on the line, you're going to lose the game. You know what I'm saying? So some accountability has to be taken. Definitely play calling can help the situation. You want to put them in positions to win, but end of the day, they gotta play better. Like just saying the offensive line isn't doing well, they're not playing. That's on them. There has to be an offensive line change. So when they are getting pushed on the line, so when you do hand the ball off to Junkins, it's 2nd and 3 instead of 2nd and 9. So there has to be some accountability there. I don't want to all throw it on the coach, but at the same time, when you do have players there, they got to be able to perform, and if they're not, that's a you thing.
100%.
Let's go back in the time machine a little bit, Joe. Back
Yep.
to that. It's the Mike Pennant regime when Brian Hoyer was here with Johnny
Yes.
Manziel and that, right? So
Yes.
obviously it's a little bit different situation. Obviously the result, then Brian Hoyer had us first in the AFC North for that
Oh
extended
my
period of time.
goodness,
Yeah,
bro.
I
Yes.
remember. And then shortly after that, he had a couple bad stretches of games, and next thing you know, Johnny Manziel is barking at the door. Um, I know, I remember your boy Dante Whitner came out, and he's been on record plenty of times talking about how that was a Jimmy Haslam decision, and that ruined the year. You guys truly felt like that was a year you could have made a jump forward. What's that feeling like in the locker room when you have a player of that caliber, like a Shador Sanders? Now, obviously, again, it's different. Guys
Mm.
want Shador to play. I don't know if guys wanted Johnny Manziel to play. How do you keep that professionalism to where it's like, okay, we gonna let this young kid Dillon rock out. We gonna let Joe Flacco and these boys rock out. But is there really behind your mind? Are you thinking like, man, let's just get to the kid and let's just get it going? Like, what's that like?
I say the thing is you got to have great leadership and believe in your leadership and
Sweet.
think that the coaches and players want you to be in a position to win. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if at the end of the day, everybody has eyes. And we see what's going on at practice. We're watching the throws, and we know the game rolls. So if end of the day with Shador and how that was rocking, he's the next man up. So we're gonna rock with Dillon. We're gonna see what's going on. We're gonna see how he practices, how he performs. We want our teammates to be successful. We don't want because when you're out there playing for me, I'm not rooting for your downfall. I'm rooting for the best for you. I want everybody to provide, and dudes have a job to do. We're not going out there just like this. No, we don't like Dillon. I'm gonna miss this block. No, 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 no. We're coming out this joint to win. It doesn't matter who's back there throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's gonna be rocking until it gets to the point where he's not performing. The young kid, he's doing better. Like he's not helping the team win. So the thing that just throws me off is when you have your top leadership playing with your other players, playing with Shador. Why are you not saying he's going to be the backup immediately? That's lack of leadership. That's making questions. That's making things that don't need to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part where like coach is like, boom, Dillon's the starter, Shador's the backup. We're gonna rock out with Dillon. You know what I'm saying? Hope that the best. In the same way, Shador can come in there. He's supporting of him. Why do you have your third string quarterback even taking any questions at all? Keep that out of the way. Like I think the main thing is it's top down. Like they have to run that shit to where everybody believes we're here to win games. It doesn't matter about none of that noise. This is what's going on inside of this building.
So we know that there's so many holes on this team, but like when we talk about the leadership, you talk about the leadership. There's zero leadership on this team. Myles Garrett has tried to grow into that role. It's clear that that was never his natural born thing to be that type of leader.
Mm.
But what would it do? How many holes could it fix if they did decide to bring a new voice in here? Because a lot of people say, well, you can get rid of the coach and you can get rid of these guys, but what's that going to fix when all of the holes are there? But again, we come back to the table and we say, we've got all of these talents, we got opportunities to make plays, and yet it's not executing properly. How much of a difference could a voice make in fixing these problems? And could we be sitting here like the Jaguars were last year after going 4-13? They bring in a new coach in Liam Cohen, and they're 4-1 5 weeks through. Like, could a new voice fix a majority of these problems to where we're talking about this team being potentially 500, not even
I would
talking
tell you,
playoffs?
I would tell you this. If Coach Tomlin were coaching the Browns, they would not ever be in this situation. They would not be losing these games. He would keep them at least 500 every season because it's the voice, it's the leader, it's the man that's coming in that joint, and it's accountability. He's not going to let you give me no damn excuses of why you aren't executing on film. There's a job to be done. You're going to do it. And if you don't, he's going to get somebody else in there that's going to do the job. That the standard is the standard. So that's what I'm saying. If a new voice is coming in there and really keeping that standard to the standard, keeping all these players accountable, it doesn't matter about the leadership and voice, because the voice is, if you're not balling, it doesn't matter. If you're not doing your job, nobody's listening to you. You know what I'm saying? So the accountability to the coach of like, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's rocking. There's no gray around here. I'm the buck. The buck stops with me. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a, if that voice can come in, that's how he's going to run it. Because I would just say my experience in Pittsburgh, there's only one buck. There's Coach T, and it is what it is. And you know what he knows he's going to come in that team meeting. He's going to give you that. He's going to make you want to come fight for him. And he's going to keep it real with you. He's going to make sure everything you do, like, he's not just going to give you leeway. Like, the standard is the standard. The tape, honest guy don't lie. He's going to tell me, Joe, no, that's bullshit right there. And I'm like, as a man, oh, yeah, right. I got to get right. Still in the time with me playing. Like, so the voice that's coming there and keeping accountable of the players, because at the end of the day, if you're giving us good plays, you're putting us in the right position, we have to make that play. There's plays that need to be made that the Browns are missing these blocks. Where's accountability to the blocks that are being missed? Why is my man Junkins getting hit in the backfield? Like, if he keeps getting hit in the backfield, we have to throw the ball because it's fucking 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? O-line, why did you miss that block? Then we could be sitting with the different plays and we can't get rolling. So yes, a coach can come in that joint and switch up the whole vibes and like, no, this is not what we're playing. You're not going to play if you keep missing your blocks. We're going to have to get somebody else in here because if we keep doing the same thing, we're going to lose.
So what do you think happened after the 2023 season? Because it seemed like that was the first time Kevin Stefanski actually had, I would say, full control of the locker room. I think back to, the only reason why I'm going to say that is because I think back to the David Njoku comments after the offseason, where in the beginning of that tender with Kevin Stefanski and David Njoku, he even said it. They butted heads and they didn't see the eye to eye. Obviously, winning cures a lot of things, but what is the major difference from having the locker room in 2023 to setting the expectation up for 2024 and ultimately not falling on your face, but tripping over your own shoelaces in the process?
Yeah.
It's happening in real time. And like you said, winning cures a lot. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not winning games, it's so much easier than everything just is it's magnified when you're not winning games.
So was it a product of Kevin? Was Kevin the reason that we were winning these games in 2023? Or was this more so a product of next man up mentality? I got my brothers back. We about to go out here and galvanize and win these games.
I feel like galvanize, win these games. We got a job to do. We have a good squad. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
I think it was just everybody. That was a close team. I feel like that team was kind of like they got along together. They were rocking together. They were hanging out a lot. So it could be one of those years when you just what I'm saying. I am my brother's keeper. You know what I'm saying? They rocking with each other, and it's just the vibe gets going.
I also think Joe Flacco had a lot to do with that. I think the season seemed like a lost cause at mid-season. I can't remember which week Flacco came in, but that experience of knowing you've been there before and the pairing of an experienced quarterback with a really, really good defense, you felt confident as a team. And I think guys showed up and wanted to work for Flacco. Even just seeing this offseason before the season started, it seemed like guys felt the same way about Flacco, which makes you wonder about Deshaun Watson, what that move entailed. But at the same time, I wonder, is it more about how people feel about Deshaun Watson in the building? Because everything that we hear about people in the building is positive about Deshaun Watson. I think it's probably more about the way they pushed Flacco away.
They didn't even offer him a contract. But, I think you mentioned the point. I think the reason why they were so hung-go on galvanizing around Joe Flacco was because for the first 8 weeks of the season, you didn't have a quarterback that could sniff 225, 250 yards. And the first game that this guy stepped on the field, he just started airing it out. So, was that part of that old school grind, veteran mentality. Like, I'm so curious to know. My thought process is this with the whole Kevin Stefanski thing, right? It's like every time that we've seen um the offense look decent, it was always with what they say. Well, how could he win with PJ Walker? How could he win with DTR? How could he win with the Joe Flacco's? Every time we won those games was because the offense was dumbed down. Every time the offense got implemented with Deshaun Watson, with Joe Flacco this year, with Baker Mayfield in 2021, it was a complete disaster. So, like, maybe the offense just needs to be basic and dumbed down with Kevin,
Yeah.
and that will bring the most out of Kevin, because clearly him scheming for a certain type of quarterback and for a certain type of offense, his Ivy League brain can't deviate away from that plan, and he's so hard-headed, and this is why we're at where we're at right now.
See,
Essentially.
I agree, but then I think about how dumbed down, probably, I'm not in the meetings, but like how dumbed down a game plan for a rookie quarterback making his first 2 starts in the NFL are. I feel like that's pretty dumbed down too,
It
and it's
can't
still
be
not working.
52 pass attempts, Joe. That can't be dumbed down.
Yeah.
That can be that dumbed down. He got it. It's a lot of plays. That's a big, bro. It's a big. I mean, you got to give him credit. I know that playbook can't be that dumb. It's a big playbook
Mhm.
that the Dillon Gabriel. I'm not going to act like he's not an able, quick learner. And like, I don't think. I think he got. I think he's grasped a lot of knowledge and knows a big playbook. But I don't think the plays are working.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely not working. We can tell you that much. I mean, it's a ridiculous threshold. I have a note on my phone of the quarterbacks who have scored 20 plus this year, outside of the obvious guys who have consistently started, the stars in the league: Jake Browning, Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz. Jacoby Brissett in his first start, by the way, for Arizona. Carson Wentz, Tyrod Taylor, Spencer Rattler, Mac Jones, a couple times, Russell Wilson, Cam Ward, and J.J. McCarthy. It's insane. It's insane to look at an offense that can't put up 20 points. And none of those guys I just mentioned really have the defense on the other side to help out the offense with field positioning, getting stops, time of possession. It's utterly insane to me at this point that I hate to harp on the number of 20 because I think it's a subjective thing, but it's a threshold that hasn't been reached, and even more than 17 was just reached by the guy you traded 5 days prior. So,
Joe, do you think I have a very wild conspiracy theory? Do you want to hear it?
I would love to.
I want to know if you think it's on board or not. So, my thought process is behind this: we won't see competitive football until Brook Park. And the reason why I say that is because Jimmy Haslam bought this team however many years ago for $1 billion. And we know that this is a business at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
he's checking his notes and his books at the end of the year every year, and he's seeing that he's making money. So it's not like the operation is broken. The Factory of Sadness is running as well as it's ever been, because every single year that checkbook says, hey, we made some bread. So my thought process is, he don't want to win on this soil. He don't want to win with this history. He don't want to win with all of these things going on, because guess what? Come 2029 and 2020 and 2030, we building a masterpiece in Brook Park. And then you gonna see Jimmy Haslam put these dollar signs to use, and we gonna really try to win, because guess what? We did it my way. We did it on my terms, on my soil. So I think that these next few years, they have exactly the guys who they want in place. They got the puppet master in Kevin Stefanski, who can follow a script better than anybody in the league. They have arguably the best GM in terms of maneuvering money and making money come out of thin air, and you have the operation of analytics seeming to work in terms of the business aspect and everything else that goes along with it. So once Brook Park gets here, I think that's when we'll see the real crack at it. Do you think that's a crazy conspiracy theory to run with, or am I working with something there?
It's sad, man, but you might have a little something, but I hope not. I hope not, brother. Because just for the Browns' sake, for the Browns' sake.
see, I go back and forth. Like, I think that could come to fruition. Like, I think they could be bad till Brook Park, but I don't know if it's more of a Haslam thing. It could just be the talent on the roster.
But brother, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's been like how you think you got to just find a reason to like, okay, now we're gonna get good.
Yeah.
Like we could hopefully we're trying to get good every year, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? But I feel you, but yeah, because it just doesn't. It's yeah. I hope not, brother. I hope
Yeah.
not.
What do you
It's
what do
making
you
me sad.
what do you think was said in the so you know how the beginning of this year started out? It started out with Myles Garrett dragging us through the streets of East Cleveland all the way down to Lakewood, saying that he would do anything to get out of this organization. And then all of a sudden, I know the $40 million, it talked, but you go
Brother.
from dragging this team through the mud to ultimately signing, and then just this past week say this team is committed to winning. What do you think Andrew Berry has said to Myles Garrett to make him believe that this team is committed to winning and they're moving towards the right direction when just 4 or 5 months ago he was literally, and I quote, willing to do anything to get out of Cleveland?
It's the guaranteed money, and you're not going to be able to force yourself out of anywhere that you don't want to be, even if you don't believe it. For the next 2 years, while you're getting that 40 guaranteed, you have to be all the way in. You don't just go from feeling one type of way, literally. You know what I'm saying? To then once the contract happens, you know what? Unless like what plans, Miles? Unless they're talking about the future plans back, like you said, like what have they really shown you to show you that way besides giving you that big bag of that 40 million guarantee? Like I just think I know if I would have did that too, like ready to go, Browns they playing with me, not like you don't want to bring me back, and genuinely feeling like you haven't made moves like getting rid of TJ Ward, getting rid of busted screens, not signing dudes, like not drafting quarterbacks in certain places where I really feel like, man, when I was there, we weren't like, I'm like, nigga, we don't want to win here. Like we drafted Leon McFadden when Honey Badger
Oh,
was
don't
right
do that.
there. I was like this, and I love Leon McFadden, but I'm like this. If we wanted a cornerback, we had, I was like, oh my God, Honey Badger's is right there. We're going to get him. And we drafted Leon McFadden. No disrespect. I was like, oh, we don't fucking want to win.
And
Like,
the next pick was him.
the next pick was Honey Badger. I was like, just stuff like that certain times. And I'm like, okay, then that can make you feel some type of way. But then if they would have signed me, give me all the bread, whatever. All right, bet. Well, guess what he feels like? They signed me, so they must be ready to win. So they signed Miles, so he feels like, all right, bet. They show me that they're in a decision to win because they signed me.
Yeah.
But I don't really think genuinely it could feel any different because it's the same team. Like they're only telling Miles too at the end of the day what he's going to get. You're going to get your stuff. Like he's also a piece at the end of the day. Like
Would you take calls on Myles?
if the Browns, if the Hall. I mean, at the end of the day, if I were the Browns, though, they need to get some more some wide receivers and a little more line. And at the end of the day, with the quarterback too, like, but if he's not standing upright, I like Dillon Gabriel. Keep giving him the chance. I don't think he's the answer. I honestly, my particular opinion, it's like because I don't want to seem like I'm just forcing Dillon out of there. Like I want to give him a valid shot. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a very good quarterback. And I would like to give him a chance, but I'm like, if we go throw him in there, hopefully he's going to throw some more of these deep passes, like just to speed out. So he's not going to throw errant passes all the time, like some what Dillon's doing. Like I'm like, Dillon, come on, you're not throwing interceptions, but god damn it, hit me with a good out route. You know what I'm saying? And just hit him in the chest, so then we can keep walking forward. Like he's throwing a couple of them, but like it just doesn't look as fluid to me. And I think Shedeur is way better at being able to throw some of those passes. So I'm like, now if he gets in there, he doesn't still have the line. We don't really have the outside weapons. We do have tight ends good. Like hopefully we can get the run game right, but it doesn't look like a position that is going to be in any quarterbacks to be look too successful right now.
Yeah. Do you think we see Shedeur Sanders sometime soon? Because I know it's the operating assumption that he will play this year. It seems like that's the case, whether the season's lost or not. Like it seems like he's going to play. Do you think it's going to be sooner rather than later? Like, do you think the leash on Dillon Gabriel is short?
No, I don't. I think Dillon Gabriel still has at least 3 games. I would say because for sure he was the 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to just break his confidence. He hasn't done terrible. He's not just out there throwing the ball all over the place, throwing it around. So it's not all his bad. So I don't want to just force it to Shedeur and then Shedeur looks the same and then you're gonna go back to Dillon. Like let him, man, get his chance. We're 1-5 right now. What are we rushing to try to see, like, get him all out the way? Give your man his valid chance. He hasn't been doing bad in any stretch, but he hasn't been doing good. He's been right on the just average. And I would give my man a C, like a C minus-ish, but like not too bad. So I'm gonna keep giving him a couple more games, probably 3 to 4. Hopefully he can get a win in, but like if he starts turning the ball over, we're gonna get to Shedeur.
Is Dillon Gabriel better than Cody Kessler's 3rd round, trust me, Hugh Jackson pick?
Yes.
That lives in my head forever. I just remember Hugh Jackson standing up at that podium and say, "Hey, trust me on this Cody Kessler guy. This is it." And this is the same exact thing, just like 10 years later. Like,
yeah,
it is 100%. And now my thought is, you're right, Joe. Like the leash on Dillon Gabriel should be longer, especially when you look at the 2 games they played. It's not like they're playing little sisters of the poor. Like the Vikings defense and the Steelers defense are 2 of the best in the league. Like
my man flew across the country in his first start, had to go out there in London, you know what I'm saying? And then next one in Pittsburgh with swatting him and made him throw it 52 times. Still didn't turn the ball over. So like he's not out there just looking like get this kid out of here. He does not like a deer in the headlights. We can help him out a little bit more with the run game, whatever. But definitely, like he's not terrible.
Yeah.
From a player standpoint, I want to go back to something you said a little bit earlier. You said that Shedeur Sanders is next up. Now, we all are in agreement of that. I think we all can agree that Shedeur Sanders should be next up. From a player standpoint, if you were to see, which is creeping up every single week, we know it's on the horizon. We've seen the videos from Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson were to get cleared coming up in these next couple weeks and he gets ushered into that number 2 spot and we see him before Shedeur Sanders, is that something would you as a player want to go to the veteran who's making the $230 million and see one more time? Or do you want to get to the guy who you think should be the number 2 quarterback, like you said?
He's making $45 million a year. As soon as Deshaun's leg gets okay, I'm putting as an owner of the team, whatever, I completely understand. If Deshaun can play, we're putting him in the game. We got Shedeur here still for $1 million. Like end of the day, we still got him. He's gonna be good. Let's see if we can get anything out of the vet that we're paying $45 million. I wouldn't be mad at all about that because you got to get what you can get out of Deshaun. Not just trying to act like that, but like, dude, he got 230. So while he's on this team and while he's healthy, I'm gonna try to put him in the game.
So what you're saying is we might as well prepare ourselves next offseason for a Deshaun Watson finale.
You might as well.
Yeah.
Unless they get rid of him.
But
Yeah,
you just
and
said they
who's getting-
paying them though. So
they're
if
gonna
you were
pay
on it,
him.
like
But that's what I'm telling you though. At the end of the day, it's $45 million. So they keep saying they're paying 8 quarterbacks. They're not tripping on them other quarterbacks. That's 7 other quarterbacks at $7 million.
Yeah.
They're paying Deshaun Watson $35 million. Like, what is everybody talking about? Oh, 8 quarterbacks. I'm like, yeah, that's peanutty buddies. They paying this man 35 M's. That's real money. Like owners and stuff. Like you keep everybody just washing that. I'm like, dude, $40 million a year. Like, let's talk about that. That the Jimmy and they paying that. They cutting that check. It's hitting every Tuesday. He's solid. You're coming to play for me. Like,
Yeah.
what?
yeah, so $72 million cap hit next year. There ain't no way they just gonna throw that away then. So we might as well prepare yourselves for a Deshaun Watson finale go away.
And
tour.
that's the craziest thing about the head coaching search, because I think if you assume that Stefanski's not the head coach next season, the next head coach for the Browns is going to have to navigate one of the weirdest quarterback situations in the league, because not only do you have the 2 rookies, Watson penciled in to be on the roster, you could
gotta
have
draft.
the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
That's the reality. And if you really like a quarterback, especially coach, GM, you're supposed to get on the same page with this of like, this is our guy, we're taking him number 1 overall. You have a weird spot looking at whoever will be the top quarterback coming out. We don't really know yet, but it's an odd spot to be in. I think the number 1 overall pick is attractive for a coach coming to a team, but I think it makes it a lot less attractive when you have to deal with the quarterback mess that's on the Browns right now.
And Andrew Berry, according to Mike Tomlin.
Man. Yeah. If you got a number 1 pick, I mean, I think it's never a bad option to have the option of quarterback. And then you could just, if Dillon, we will be able to see what it is by now. So I don't think he'll be there or Shedeur. We're going to get a lot out of this season. Still a lot of season left. So these quarterbacks are still going to get chances to play, but we'll see. It's never, if they get that number 1 overall pick again, I don't know who's the number 1 quarterback. Do you know who's the number 1 quarterback coming out?
Lenore Sellers looks to be the guy right now from South Carolina.
It honestly,
you don't look too fond.
It's tough. It's tough to tell. I mean, all the quarterbacks walking into this year, like you were thinking, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier. Nussmeier's been solid. Drew Aller's done for the season. Probably going to play college football next year too. Like he may not even go to the draft. Carson Beck is another guy who I like, who's playing well this year, but at the same time, like, is he worth the number 1 overall pick? I don't know. The Indiana quarterback has been awesome as well. Oregon quarterback's been awesome. Like there's some guys, but
Yeah.
like you said,
But it's not an Andrew Luck right now.
there's not an Andrew Luck, at least that we
No.
know of.
Never
at least
with
that
our
we know
luck.
of. Yeah,
You know?
supposed to be Arch Manning, but not the case right now either. I don't know. It's gonna be a weird quarterback offseason, but like you said, Joe, there's a lot of things to look forward to this season in the quarterback room because we are likely, I'm not going to guarantee anything, likely going to get answers on at least one of the rookies we have on the roster right now.
Oh, for sure.
So we got a couple more things for you. Appreciate you coming on, man, as
Oh,
always.
no doubt, brother.
What did you? I know Newsom, your dog, Newsom, my dog. You got Newsom jersey
Yes.
on, stuff like that. Campbell came in, stepped in. Obviously, he gave up
Yeah.
the 1 touchdown, but I'm not a DB. I'm not an All-Pro DB. I don't coach DBs. when I saw the first few plays and them attacking him, I thought, damn, this is a different change of pace. I was impressed with Campbell's debut, despite the one touchdown that he gave up. Like you mentioned, eventually it's gonna happen. You give up so many plays,
Yeah.
but what do you think of the trade-off in terms of Greg Newsome and getting guy under control like Campbell? Do you think it was a fair trade? I guess.
I've never really seen Campbell too much, and that was my first. I watched the whole game. He did a really good job, brother.
Mm-hmm.
He was in DK Metcalf's pocket. He was playing man to man out there, fresh off the plane. So I give that man a lot of respect. And then learning that system, he got it on Thursday and played on Sunday. So 2 days to learn the scheme. I think the first one, when Washington, you can see on the first one that little mix cue. I think that might have just been a little defensive flunk, but just not in communication.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, bro, he was in the pocket. He got hit on the double move. But I was honestly impressed. He was playing really good man to man. Stayed close to DK Metcalf a lot of the time. They were attacking him. And I'm like, he was making really good plays on a lot of those out routes, a lot of those third downs, forcing punts. So in my first perspective, I'm like, I like this dude. He was playing press man, smooth. He looked like he was understanding routes. He looked smooth out there. So I'm a fan.
That's
I'm
good.
not. I love Newsome. He's my guy. But just watching him out there play too, it seemed like these dudes are very similar out there playing man to man corners, basically not zone guys. They can go up there, they can tackle you, and they can play press.
Anybody that know press better than I mean, not too many people know press better
exactly,
than
yeah.
hey, I'll just say it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That was your cup of tea right there.
Yeah, and it's
Man, I
also
was
like,
yes for sure. And I see you know what you talk about though, because he was out there doing nice. I was like, the man got good feet. He was like, he looks
call me
solid
crazy.
out there, and I wasn't panicking. So yeah.
They was calling me crazy in chat when I was doing my live stream. They're like, bro, he's getting cooked. I'm like, are you, dude? A shadow couldn't be closer than
Yeah.
what he was on some of these plays.
It was a couple of them balls. Like he was Aaron Rodgers putting the ball on the money, and that's DK Metcalf. So a lot of times he was in the pocket. That double move, that was the one play he got hit. That was like, you got to have a little bit better eyes than that, but is what it happens. He was out there, he played 70 some plays. That's the thing about being DB man to man out there. Your bad plays are going to be exposed.
Yep.
That's a defensive lineman that just gets pushed out the hole. Nobody knows nothing. Next play, that happens every single time. So as a corner, you're going to get hit sometimes, but like he was out there hooping.
And that double move that you're talking about came on probably the 5th or 6th shot after all of those plays that he kind of. It goes back. It literally flashbacks to when you were playing. Because I think about the time when people used to critique you and be like, "Dude, Haden got burnt on a play." I'm like, did y'all not see him have press coverage the first 2.5, 3 quarters of the game? Like, eventually Joe's gonna let one go. Like it's a law of average.
Yes. That cornerback position ain't no joke, man. Especially now, you can't touch nobody.
Yes, that, and it's also I said it a couple times. To me, he's kind of like Martin Emerson. Like physically, they're very similar, but Martin Emerson, a guy who can get in the grill of those bigger receivers that not a lot of corners in the NFL still can do. And like you said, it's DK Metcalf. I mean, it's possibly the most physically imposing receiver in the league right now. Like he is a tough cover, and he's going to make plays. Aaron Rodgers is going to put the ball in spots where a DB can only do so much. The big plays are going to be magnified because, number one, you are playing so much, man. But number two, you're going against such a talented player. Nobody will talk about the multiple PBUs. Nobody will talk about how he's able to eliminate DK Metcalf on certain plays because he can physically, just with his size, match up with him. With not a lot of people in the league can do. I mean, we watched DK Metcalf go 80-something yards through the Vikings defense because he was bigger and faster than everybody. That was not the issue.
Yes, 1,000%.
All right, well, we always like to end with a couple fun ones. I do want to ask you before we get to the fun question. I'll let Mascot ask them. I remember catching a clip from you and Debo on y'all podcast. I'm loving that, by the way. What y'all got going on is hilarious.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Because he definitely becoming you be holding your ground. Don't let him get over on you, man. Because I see him trying to intimidate you.
I'm starting to feel like Craig for real on Friday.
I be seeing, I'm like, man, why he trying to strike so much intimidation into my boy, and you be holding your ground, and then I'm like, it's only so much. It's Harris. I get it. I'm gonna stay cool. Maybe we can get it out you. He asked you the question, so I'm gonna ask you, who you going into the Hall of Fame jersey? What jersey you picking?
You already knew which one it was. If I go to Hall of Fame, it's the Browns. Like that's what I told Debo. I keep it when he asked me that about the Hall of Fame. I'm like this. The Browns. Like, if he gets down to the nitty-gritty, it's the Browns.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my heart is. And it's the city of fucking Cleveland, brother. Like,
Mhm.
I just can't help it. I get emotional about them because I feel bad. I
Mhm.
want them to be able to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want the city to be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not y'all's fault. Y'all deserve a winner, and the Browns fans are the best because they still ain't, y'all haven't won, and y'all are rocking
He's still
so
here.
Yeah.
hard. Y'all deserve it, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do want to finish with the two patented fun questions that we have. Joe,
Okay.
when you were in Cleveland and when you come back to Cleveland, obviously, we're curious, best restaurant or your favorite restaurant and the best burger that you've had in Cleveland?
So I was when I first was out there, my restaurant was XO, and then that ended
Oh,
up
yeah.
closing. It was a steakhouse. I don't know if y'all heard of
No,
XO.
never.
The OGs in Cleveland, they'll know. 2010, about 2014, XO Steakhouse was fire. And then I do Town Hall also. The
Okay.
Town Hall is a nice little vibe. That's my spot I go to.
That's for the
Nice.
burgers or just anything?
Oh, for the burgers too. Town Hall burger.
Okay. Okay.
That's good to
I'm
know.
telling you, slaps and it's healthy.
So when you back in the city, you're gonna have to come through the Muni lot and stop by the RV.
Yeah.
I need a big old signature right on the wall for you. We got a spot right there ready to go for you.
Oh no, for sure. Next time I'm in the city, next game, I'm gonna let you know for sure.
Yeah,
You
you
got
know,
my
cause we locked
contact.
in now, so we gonna be right up there.
You tapped
A2,
in.
big
Shoot me,
RV. We got
shoot
the
me the text.
food, drink, whatever you need. Let me know. Hospitality gonna be on us.
Man, my brother, I expect nothing less.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, we appreciate you hopping on, guys. We appreciate you watching and listening to Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network. Zay, any final words before we sign off?
Joe, man, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for taking time out. I'm glad I caught you at the Verizon. Maybe gave you a little snippet like, hey, that was me. That was me who told you at the
Yes.
Verizon little thing. But we always end with this. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Who?
We appreciate you guys watching and listening. We will see you next time.